Taken aback by goblin diplomacy, the Angels needed all of their might to survive the ambush. Admittedly desperate to survive against Kurovis, I drank the mysterious potion I had found back at the Glassworks, getting my first taste of mythic power. 'Twas enough to slay Kurovis. During the showdown at the bridge, the other Angels and comrades destroyed the zombie horde, securing our position for the siege. Victory was assured, albeit with some casualties. We come for the night in preparation for the next day.
This video is brought to you by me! I'm launching a Kickstarter in September and I need your help. Please click the link in the description and click on the Notify Me on Launch button. I know it's annoying to ask, but the world is run on algorithms now, and if we hit 500 followers, I've been told that the Kickstarter algorithm will just give us free promotions. More info later in the video, but thank you in advance. Click on the Notify Me on Launch button. Do it now, now.
Of course, Uxio way in the back doesn't know that, so he's just leading the soldiers up this way in order to try and get caught up to all the action.
Exactly.
Yeah, unless anyone shouts or does anything, Bella has no idea and is going to continue to try and cut her way through.
I think one more shot can do it, especially if I'm helping.
Still running around.
Am I able to reach the dagger in my back?
Give an acrobatics check.
Okay. Nope. Nope. That's fine. I think she'll turn her back towards Shaylee and be like, could you get this?
Shaylee looks at you, smiles, and says, "Of course, dear, you freaking mad lass." She carefully goes behind, and I'll do a first aid roll for her. I'll roll nature for her. She carefully draws it out and then presses against your back to prevent bleeding, and she'll dress your wounds.
Yay.
The rest of the Rangers collapse in exhaustion as the rest of the party makes their way, and you guys all get... I'm just gonna bring you all together.
After having her wounds dressed by Shaylee, Runra is going to hold out her hand. I'd like to keep that dagger for myself.
She laughs and says, "You earned it, girl." And she gives it to you.
Yay. Dagger.
You guys meet up.
Well, that didn't go well.
Uxio arrives 3 turns late with soldiers.
Evan looks back. Sup, dude?
I take it that it's been taken care of. Explains why we didn't see any zombies on the way here.
Rhoda is going to lift up Kurovis' head by the strong hand and say, just in time.
Impressive.
He can already hear the soldiers behind him going, "Oh, Goblin Bane's so incredible!"
As you guys are regrouping, it's going to take a while for the catapult to get to you.
Mm-hmm.
Did
Understandable.
Kurovis have anything else useful on him?
Yes, he had a very impressive looking scimitar. It does appear to be magical. It's at least made out of a special material. You can do an appraise check to see what it is.
I think that's a yes.
Yep. Give me a 1d4 roll.
1.
I'm going to nerf that.
Elysium Gold.
Adamantine, surprisingly.
That was it, but I'm going to make it mithril.
Oh,
Well, that's nice still, because
Yep.
it's
Silver.
essentially like silver, but lighter, and doesn't have the -1 to damage.
Yep, it is a mithril scimitar. You think it might be magical, but you're not quite sure. That 24 appraise does reveal some writing. You could use linguistics.
Oh boy, here we go.
It is written in Celestial. You're not sure how Kurovis got this, but it looks like he got some kind of holy weapon that he was trying to use.
Holy weapon.
Yeah.
Why in the world would he be using a holy weapon?
Well, wait. Does someone have to detect magic to actually see if it actually has a holy aura?
Heck just looks at Zidane when he says that.
Oh, okay. Well, if you wish to take a look at it, Hecht, as I...
No. Too late. As I just move along.
What does the words on it say?
You don't speak Celestial, and that 18, weirdly enough, doesn't get it. It's some kind of prayer.
I speak Celestial.
You do? Oh, okay, shit. It's a classical prayer to Sarenrae.
It says, "May Sarenrae's light grant healing to the ill and fiery death to the wicked."
Anything special about that dagger?
The dagger is a silver dagger, and very clearly it's a dagger of returning, although when you test it, like you throw it against a tree and then try to call it back, it's not responding right away. It seems like there's a specific command word that needs to be said.
Okay.
Arcana check could help you try to figure it out, though.
Yeah, I will do that.
Now you're getting the good rolls.
I love it. So, Ranrua, you realized that your hands are too big to call it back, so you have to use your pinky. Because he used his strong hand to call it back.
Oh, no.
You have to call it back with your pinky.
Awkward, but okay.
Basically, if a large creature tried to call it back, it wouldn't work. Small creatures can call it back with any finger. You have to use your pinky.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. It's also a +1 silver dagger.
Yay.
As you guys are patching each other up and you're examining Kurovis' stuff, I'm actually going to check if Kurovis had any special armor. I don't think he did.
Did he have any non-armor weapon items? Given that this is a cantrip that lasts for a long time, I'm kind of just going over all the various items. I'm not going to let Das Corvut screw me over again.
I don't think we have much time to be spending searching his body. We should get going into the castle to stop all the evil things.
We have to wait for the catapult.
Shaylee actually points out, this is perfect. She starts examining the coast, and she's explaining, there is only one way in and one way out of that fortress. At this point, we could just hold a siege. This is still the original plan. We just, unfortunately, fumbled the ambush, but otherwise, the siege is still on.
Well, the other thing you can sit...
I don't think we can afford a protracted siege.
We can wait a minute for the catapult to come in to cover our approach. There has to be more in there. It wouldn't surprise me if they're just waiting to shoot at anyone who tries to cross.
She looks over and says, you guys were originally planning to fire from over there, out west, right? And she points to that western part of the coast.
More right here, I think.
Yeah, somewhere over there.
Let's just regroup, tell them to meet right there, and then we'll just reverse Uno them. Like, if they try to make it across the bridge, we shoot.
Fair enough.
Although I would like to take a minute to, and she looks at the 5 dead rangers, give proper respects.
Agreed.
Fair enough.
We've got a few minutes before the catapult's ready.
All right. Evan runs back, and essentially he will bring Amiko and Hemlock over. And you guys essentially just catch each other up. I'm just kind of breezing through this real quick. The sheriff points out and thinks for a moment, hold up. You guys took quite a beating. Why don't we set up camp in this foliage right here?
We certainly need time to recover.
Reassess your spells, pray, get some rest while we set up the catapult, and then we can invade in the morning.
That would work.
He looks up in the sky, too, and says, at this point, let's see, if it's an 8 hours of rest, he starts thinking about it. Goblins are most active at night.
We definitely don't want to siege them then.
but we can spend the evening at the very least setting up and preventing any kind of ambush. According to what we could find, you seem to have killed everything in the Nettlewoods.
And I will point out, Uxio can be a very effective night watch for the bridge.
Good.
He says, why don't we set up camp, recover your spells, get some rest, and we'll establish our siege.
That is a fair plan.
Agreed.
Fair plan, Sheriff.
All right. So you guys set up your camp. The soldiers are going around. Meanwhile, the lieutenants are in the center, and you all call your meeting together. In the circle are the Angels of Sandpoint, Sheriff Hemlock, Smokey, who's representing the Rangers.
We believe that Smokey should be shrunk back down because his abilities shouldn't last forever.
That's right, he's a medium creature. I keep forgetting.
And he's no longer entangled.
He is no longer entangled. Amiko is cooking a hearty dinner. She has enough ingredients for one person's favorite food.
And who shall it be?
Shaylee has a thing as well. So,
I think Red Brewer deserves the favorite food today.
Yeah, I'll agree to that.
the buff will apply for tomorrow then. She is cooking a hearty Eggs Benedict.
Excellent.
Sheriff Hemlock brings the group together and says, calling this meeting, Bella has something to inform everyone, and I think we do need to discuss this.
Right, so the amulet has gathered a lot of wrath power from all the goblins we've taken out. There's enough here to grant one person mythic power.
A hush goes over the camp as no one's quite sure what to do with it. A mischievous furry hand goes up.
I did kill Korovis. It was certainly within our expectations that he would betray us. And I would assume that killing him is what zombies may have remained.
You're probably right about that, but you're still on probation.
Unfortunately, Ranbrua, I do kind of agree with him. Your fight was impressive, and when I got the full breakdown from Shaylee, I do think you deserve it, but at the moment, I would offer it to someone else before.
Once again, Smokey raises his paw.
Oh my.
Sir Smokey, Sheriff Hemlock points out, says, though your bravery was commendable, since you are not part of the invading force, I think it would be more appropriate to go to someone else.
And think of the people here who have the most potential to gain from it. It's Uxio and Hecht.
Uxio squirms a bit underneath that idea.
Then it sounds like we will bide our time.
Evan raises his hand and says, I think Ranrua should get it.
A soldier in the background. Simp!
He stands up and says, no. He says, maybe not right this second, but she has definitely proved herself, and she fought like a demon to protect all them up there. Even if we have to grant it, say, tomorrow, how long does it take to adjust?
Well, I don't know. It took me some time, but, well, I had a lot to process.
If I were to take upon any power similar to yours, I think I would be quite more adaptable to it.
We do know what we're getting into this time, at least to an extent.
I know this may sound strange coming from me, as he looks at Ranrua, but I actually agree with Evan. Ranrua held the bridge to make sure that none of those goblins came across, put her life on the line. Perhaps she does deserve more than we are giving her.
And another thing to consider is that she is still under the Gias, so at least right now, we can be sure that the fort business will be taken care of.
Bella will look to Ranrua, and she'll say, "All right, Ranrua. Convince me. Convince me of your
hold on.
loyalty to the group."
I will admit that I don't quite have loyalty to any of you personally. I've simply held on to my goals and kept them to myself. Once completed, I would merely make my way to my next objective. No more, no less. But now that we are all caught up in this business, I would not deny you the opportunity to go along with me where next we may need to go.
Evan's like, do you mean after this adventure? Like, as in after the raid?
Yes.
The sheriff points out, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it, but right now, and he points to the bridge to Thistletop, that's the bridge we're concerned with.
Mm-hmm. As the fight was starting, she's going to pull out the vial or potion bottle that had the blue liquid in it. There was a strange concoction as this. It gave me the strength to kill that goblin. And it gave me a visage of more of the mythic power within the keep.
Is there any of that liquid left in the vial for me to examine, maybe?
Perception.
Okay. Apparently, I see all.
Add your inspiration to that.
Alright, I guess I'll use my freaking one thing of inspiration I got left after this, but 28 total.
Really good. You pick it up and you look inside the vial. It's not very sizable. Like, the vial itself isn't kept in any kind of special thing, but inside you see a drop left of shiny, sheeny blue liquid, and it like swirls like starlight as you like, you know what I mean? Like
Push
you
it around.
Yeah, wish it like a sommelier.
Yeah.
I think something that could help with this assessment is, before I drank it, looking into this would be akin to looking at the night sky.
I can see that. And where did you find this vial?
It was back at the glassworks, in the crate of the other potions I found.
Uh-huh.
This will be an Arcana check. It's a pretty serious one. I'm just going to let you know. You may not make it.
All right.
You look at it, and it seems beyond your current understanding. You've just never seen a potion liquid look quite like that. And Ranrua describes as saying, like, when it was full, it looked exactly like it. You smell it, and it's got really no odor, no, like, lingering effect, just that little bit of drop left. But if you are at your lab, you might be able to do something better with it.
Yeah, we could probably try to take a look at it at the lab later, but that's a whole other matter after this.
There's certainly not enough for another use of it.
However, at the bottom of the vial, scratched into it, there's a little thing written in Amiko's native language.
Oh.
What?
Who can actually discern that, though?
Amico.
Well,
Amiko and both Amiko and Zerdan.
Okay, so Zerdan knows her.
Hold
okay.
up.
Linguistics, right?
Well, yeah, I can take linguistics to try to decipher it, yeah. So, I guess survey says, I was too distracted with the pretty liquids.
You could pass it over to her and she could tell you.
Yeah, go ahead.
She takes a break from cooking. Amiku holds it up and her face goes pale a bit and she just hands it back to you and she says it's her brother's handwriting.
What?
She sighs and it says thank you, my love, at the bottom.
Oh no. As I kind of look between the vial and at Ranrua. Who's to say that you didn't drink something that was brewed up by Nualia?
That was her name.
Yeah.
I like to go Uxio like snaps his fingers out. It was bothering me all day.
Remember earlier when I couldn't remember her name when I was talking?
Yeah. But like Uxio specifically couldn't remember it. I find that really funny.
To be fair,
I think
he's a wise boy, not a smart boy.
Mm-hmm.
Ronro's just got to have a chuckle at that. It's just like, it must have been meant for her.
It says, "Thank you, my love." Amiko corrects, and she says, "It probably was a gift from Nualia that he was saving for some kind of occasion."
Well, it was
Fair
certainly
point.
helpful today.
My concern is what it actually is. So,
What did it do when you drank it?
It gave me renewed vigor.
Is that all?
I was able to act more quickly for a little bit.
So Bella will think over what Renrua has said. Then she'll look back to Uxio and Hecht. Alright, if you guys don't want this right now.
I believe just before we went into all of this today, I gave you my worries about it.
Mm-hmm. Alright. We'll consider this a bit of an act of faith. And Bella's going to pull out the amulet.
Knowing there is another room well in the keep, and as much as I am willing to have the power within that amulet, it may be better to hold on to it.
Shaylee actually perks up and she says, "Is there any reason you can't give it to yourself?"
I can. But I can only be in one place at a time.
She shrugs.
Uxio, why is it exactly that you fear this possible power?
A power that enhances one's natural bloodline and what my bloodline is.
So is it fear of you turning into a vampire that drives this?
I don't believe I would turn into a vampire, but there are things that any, as far as I know, Dampier is capable of that certainly do lead to the image of us being vampires. And I worry that some of those might turn into an instinct that perhaps I would find difficult to resist.
Amiko like stops stirring and she's like, "Wait, hold up. Did you just say you were scared of your optics?"
Wait. I'm worried about I never had to worry about the feeling of one's first kill. How naturally might that evolve into a desire for it?
Heck's going to put a hand on Uxio's. Uxio, take it from me, a paladin of Sandway. I sense a lot of good in you, and I do think that even if you get this power, you would never do it for anything evil. You would never lose yourself.
Hemlock will also step forward. He'll kind of like put like a reassuring hand on your shoulder and he goes, "Son, I've watched you for the past several years. You have been nothing but helpful to Sandpoint, and I can't imagine another person, screw whatever your parents were, more worthy of this power than you."
damn straight.
Weirdly enough, I'm suddenly feeling like there would be almost like a "my dad's proud of me" sensation welling up in Uxio at that. Cause
with Hemlock, like
yeah, I don't think Uxio's ever had an actual father figure. I didn't put one in his background. So.
I didn't even consider Sheriff would be kind of like his you know what? Yeah, okay.
I didn't consider it either until he was saying that. I was like, would that be a moment?
When I said son, it's just like an old man addressing any young man. He's like in his 40s, so
I know it.
Yeah,
it was still popped in my head.
Right, you gotta think about how would Uxio take it. It doesn't matter how Sheriff Hemlock is
right. Yeah.
And I think that actually would help him steal his resolve, and yeah, he would accept it. If Bella is willing to give him the power, that is.
All right. Come on, do it in Kyoto. You don't just say it out of Kyoto.
Yeah.
Sorry. Thank you. I didn't even realize how much I needed to hear that from someone else. Bella, if you would consider me, I would be honored. And that sounded different than what I meant.
Amico does a spit take.
I think the whole group probably gets a little chuckle out of that.
Phrasing.
I do imagine he's face palming over it.
Hecht does not.
All right, if you're sure.
So, do I hold out an arm and just stick it to my skin or something?
Fusing!
All right. You want me to just BS something, or do you have something?
Yeah, you can BS it if you want. Hold on.
All right. So, Bella will take the amulet off, hold it in her hand, and hold it up to Uxio's chest. And then she'll close her eyes, and her face will screw up in concentration for a moment. And the golden liquid from the ruin well will begin gushing out and into Uxio.
The golden liquid wraps and swirls around him, and as bits and pieces lash onto him, Uxio, your eyes dilate as the inner parts of your bloodline begin to boil, and as the swirl occurs, you can see darkness and shadows as the vampiric blood in you awakens, and within an instant, you stand up and get just emit golden light, which staggers everybody around you. And as quick as it began, it finishes as the light subsides. You gain your first mythic rank into Paragon.
And I'm gonna real quick double check a mechanics thing before I say a small bit of RP with regards to that.
Yep. A mythic path now available on LoadingCrewCrafts.com.
The very PDF that you can buy on LoadingCrewCrafts.com.
Mm-hmm.
It mentions that first tier you get Paragon's Breakthrough and Paragon Ability.
Yes.
And that would mean Bloodline Prestige. You do not suffer any negative ability score. Correct?
Negative ability scores, yes.
Dhampir normally get a -2 to Constitution, which means Uxio is suddenly healthier. And as a result, did he get hotter?
your jawline gets very Chad.
Full handsome Squidward.
You hear a crack as Amiko accidentally breaks her spoon.
Just like
now, you guys rest for the day. You basically have this really like if it wasn't for Thistletop in the distance, this would actually be a very pleasant evening in the woods, you know?
mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Smokey breaks out, the healing spells and stuff. The sheriff essentially treats you guys honored guests. The catapult is set up, and they'll begin sieging properly in the morning. And right now, the scouts that are eyeing the bridge and are eyeing the keep itself, they're like, it is dead quiet. And they're not sure what's more concerning, if the goblins would mobilize like instantly or how quiet they are. However, you still think it is best to stay the course as it is and just relax. As the day goes on, Miko has passed out the Eggs Benedict. It is, of course, delicious.
Hell yeah.
And tomorrow, Ranrua will get her favorite food bonus. Yep. Before you guys go to sleep, though, Shaylee, she's like, I wanted to save this for another time, but this is as good a time as any. She breaks out a little alchemy kit, and she opens up a pouch, and inside are 2 potions.
Oh.
Shady brought the drugs.
She pulls them out and says, this is Dream Feast potion. When you go to sleep and you wake up, you feel the effects of your favorite food.
Oh.
This is like 100%. This is a Paizo spell. I did not make this up. This is what it does. Now, normally it gives you +1 like morale bonus, but I'm going to give whoever wants these the benefit of their favorite food.
I'm already
But
getting
let's have a
mine.
wall
I
off.
need it.
Let's all just roll a d20 and see who gets the highest too.
I'm okay with that.
Sure.
She gives Bella one of them, and then she kind of sheepishly hands the other one to Zerdan. She's like, I used your kit to make this.
Oh. Well, thank
makes
you very
sense.
much for making such a wonderful potion.
She says, thanks. I've been practicing for a while, and gosh darn, it's way harder than I thought. But hey, for inspiring me to learn alchemy, and she hands you one of the potions.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
All right. The day goes by. You guys are quite good. Like, this was a good day, all things considered. And
It was a successful day.
it was a successful day. You guys get your full 8 hours of rest, and as you are resting, some things happen in dreams.
Oh boy.
Zerdan, I mean, like, you're at Red Lobster, man. Like, you're having a great time. Like,
Funky fun times.
Zerdan, yeah, you're eating food, and so is Bella.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
All I can eat pasta bowls.
But yeah, both of you are at the same place. It's like, whoa! Actually, holy shit, that's actually a cool idea. You're
I
at,
like that idea.
You're at the same table because she made the potions. Zerdan's like eating at the thing, and then like later, like Bella comes up. Oh my god!
Whoa, how did this happen?
And like Shaylee's like the waiter or the waitress.
I love this.
That's really cute, actually.
Fantastic.
So yeah, you guys like actually hang out and you just have a good time.
Part of me is wondering if, like, the individual perception can make small changes to the dreams.
Yeah, sure. Bella, is there any kind of admonishes that your part of the dream would had?
Bella's probably not in her armor, is actually in some nice clothes because she thinks she's in a nice restaurant.
Fair enough. Zerdan?
Actually, I think I'd still be in my regular outfit around town since it's just been so good like home almost.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shaylee, she conjured like a Miko's Tavern for this.
Oh man, this is fantastic.
Like her part of the dream. She conjures a Miko's Tavern because they're practically sisters, like according to the module. So I'm gonna keep that. Yeah. Yeah, that's really cute. I like that. That's really good. Ranrua, as you sleep, darkness falls like it did when you took that potion. And you see the fortress. Once again, the creature from before looms over it like a colossal titan. And it looks down at you. The land is here before you. Like, you still are in the land. The trees are gone, and you're just kind of like in desert. The bridge is there leading to Thistletop. Thistletop as a fortress is still there. However, I'm going to need perception checks for Thistletop.
Okay. Perception is 11.
All right. The water of the ocean, of the shoreline, is not like normal water. It's inky black, and it does move and behave like it, but your instincts tell you that this is not water of the material plane. And Thistletop itself looks way different. There is a fortress, however, the land that it's on is like a gigantic statue. The person itself is some kind of male. You suspect a wizard, maybe? It's very bizarre. But you get the feeling that you're seeing Thistletop in its, like, true form. And behind it, again, is the Cheshire-faced creature, and it's looking down on you. Its arms have been manifested, and in it are two large knives, and it seems to be like holding itself up like you would be looking at a curious, silly pet. And it looks down at you, and it goes, "Hello, child. Welcome back."
Ronro will slowly approach the fortress and say, "Whatever it was I consumed, it was helpful."
It smiles and says, "That potion was not meant for you."
I've come to suspect that.
She gives a chuckle like a hyena. "There is more potion in this fortress." But to get to it, you'll need to create, well, a path of blood on your way there, but I suspect that you won't have a problem with that.
As if I haven't made one enough already.
She chuckles again like a hyena. "I've not seen you in quite a long time. And I remember all."
Often enough, I keep things to my own.
"I hear you have a patron that's..."
Well, you've heard well enough.
She takes her knife and kind of like puts the tip of it at the top of the skull and just kind of like rotates it slowly. She says, "Come to this part and just go in," as the knife slowly digs into the skull. "Down there is a potion being brewed, and the person inside brewing it, I think you should kill them. They've been quite disappointing."
I am currently under limitations. Is this person outside of my current limits?
Persuasion?
19.
She chuckles, and then, like, the face descends down, revealing a jackal's skull. She gets real close to you, and she says, "I wouldn't worry about that." And she, like, blows on you, and you feel your enchantment leave.
Oh. Oh, shit.
She stands back up, revealing the rest of her mighty body. And you see that it is a naked woman with a face of a jackal. And she says, "Come inside, dear. Have some of Mother's milk. And when you do, I think you'll be quite satisfied." And your dream ends.
Oh. How much would Runra's figure out who she
That's
is
gonna
just
need a religion. That's a religion check, absolutely.
Just check.
I think.
I'll roll a 1.
Here's the thing. I
Regardless-
will give you a +4 racial bonus to that.
Okay.
Natural
So-
one.
I swear to God, if you get a natural one, I'm gonna be mad. It's like, I'd be so mad if you get a
It
one.
would be on brand for Imrua's intelligence check.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. So there's the religion. Go.
All right. Yes, you know it's mom. Holy shit! God damn. Yes, you are pretty sure you just got a vision from Lamash too.
Oh, that is some deep shit.
At the exact moment Ranrua wakes up, Hecht, you enter your dream, and you are sitting at a long feasting table. Imagine a 50-foot length table that's 10 feet in width. You are dead in the center. On your left, there is a figure at one head of the table, and it is a woman with fiery hair. On your right is essentially a man in a gimp suit. I don't know, like, how better. Yep. The three of you are at an uncomfortable dinner.
I think she's been doing quite well following my teachings.
The man at the other end, who just rips off a haunch of some kind of fowl, like tears into it.
Oh, is that so? I don't think she's felt enough joy yet. Enough pain yet. But I don't know, though. What do you think?
As both of them look at you, and it's kind of like that awkward mom and dad are fighting and they made it your problem. That's kind of the mood of this table.
She just starts like slowly retreating more into her armor.
Dearie, you've been through a lot for sure. But surely you'd want to stay closer towards me. I can take away the burdens that trouble you, my dear. You would never, ever need to
She gets interrupted as the foul leg that the Zon-Kuthon was eating hits her square in the forehead.
No, child. Here. Now.
And they stand up and they start bickering with each other as they start encouraging you over to their side.
Here, Hecht.
But look,
have some venison.
Cinnamon apple pie. Oh, isn't it delightful?
A bite of mutton.
Oh, and it smells
or maybe
so
you
good.
prefer
look at this
a little
nice
praise.
crisp
Each
crust.
of them,
Oh, it's
I
just
assure
waiting
you,
to be
died
nibbled
in the
upon.
most
I
delightful
have plenty
way.
more where those
You
came
can
from.
taste the joy in the
It
meat.
smells so
Each
good, and the apple's so
with their
tart
own
and tangy. I know
redeeming
you'd love it.
qualities.
Enough from both of you. All you do is bicker every single time in these dreams. When I could choose a side, it would be when I decide.
Sarenrae stands up, takes a napkin, she dabs it to her lips, wipes the grease from her forehead, and then dignantly leaves the table.
As she's leaving, for God of redemption, you really do not have much redemption towards his previous actions that turned him into his self.
She turns around, gives like a sad smile, and then fades from your dream as Zon-Kuthon stands up and he just walks towards you. As you're sitting there, his long clawed fingers wrap around your shoulders.
Dearie, dearie. You've been through so much. You shouldn't have to go through any more. Unless you want to.
He pulls out his own apple pie, puts it right in front of you, and it's just like a small, humble slice.
Unless, of course, we could share this pain with someone who really deserves it.
He tears off a piece of his flesh, like a long strip of arm, and puts it next to the apple pie.
Eat the pie. Eat until you're absolutely full. Then, tomorrow.
A bloodied finger traces along the strip of flesh that he puts on the table, and Nualia's face appears like a wanted poster.
Bring me her head.
Arm bacon?
Breaking the mood here, Ukio.
That's fine.
That's why I put it in chat. Don't blame me for reading it in the RP.
He just taps your shoulder and says,
Eat up, dear. You have a big day tomorrow.
I
now,
will not accept your humble pie, but I will consider the pain to be given.
he smiles and just gives you like some fatherly taps on the shoulders and says,
Good. See you tomorrow.
and he fades away from your dream too. And as the lights dim, the only thing in front of you is a lone strip of apple pie and the arm bacon. And your missive, excuse me.
I push away from the table and just sit there until the dream ends.
Before we continue, this video is brought to you by me and the Complete Waifu Handbook Kickstarter. This book has over 200 pages worth of content for 5e, Pathfinder 1st Edition, and 2nd Edition filled with anime goodness and nonsense. In addition to 7 new races, we included a brand new set of powerful and fun subclasses for every mainline 5th Edition class, including great options like Partner in Crime for Rogues, which grants them a humanoid companion. It sort of works like Beastmaster Rangers. No, not that one. The good one. We've also finally statted out the Horny Bard subclass. Honestly, it surprised me that I'm the first person to do this, but here we are. But the subclass that everyone seems to be looking forward to the most is the Warlock's The Affair subclass, where the arcane sugar daddy joke is finally fully realized. The one I'm most proud of, though, is the Pathfinder 1st Edition and 2nd Edition Prestige class, called the Waifu, which grants you some very powerful team-based benefits with the character that is considered your spouse. This prestige class comes with a list of waifu virtues that you can pick and choose from to customize your character to transform you from mid to best girl. If we hit our stretch goal, we'll also be converting all of these classes into every system, meaning the 5e fighter subclass called the Battle Bride will also be available to Pathfinder. But we can only make this happen if you click on that link and click on the Notify Me at Launch option today. Thank you again, and now back to the Angels of Sandpoint. As you wake up, the chains wrapping around your arms burn, and the holy sword that was dropped by Korovis is in your hilt.
When did that get there?
It was probably always there.
Yeah, your right voice in my head. This probably always was here. As I do a few practice swings.
As you swing it, the prayer on the blade has changed, and it now has Nualia written on it. Uxio, as everyone is dreaming, you stand watch. Give me a perception check. You see the bridge ahead of you, and the bridge starts swaying like someone stepped on it.
And now the downside to that spell that I cast shows itself.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I get into a fight, I will need to sleep. Well, here's my main thought for what to do. I shoot onto the bridge.
Your arrow strikes something as it just stops midair, and you see like a fizzle, and then the arrow drops and hits the bridge, and you hear some giggling behind you.
That was your unseen servant, wasn't it?
She laughs. Ain't I a stinker?
Indeed you are. Any particular reason for this surprise?
Just thought you could use the company. She kind of just pops a squat right next to you, watching the bridge.
This is probably not the best time to bring it up, but are you sure you're going to be okay with who we're going to be fighting in there?
Her eyes droop a little bit, and she's like, my brother's made his choice. I would rather he stand trial. I would rather he be captured And I'd rather he serve his time as he's supposed to, or whatever. But in the heat of battle, things happen. So I get it.
I get the feeling he's not going to let him be captured. He's going to do everything he can, including give his own life, to protect Nualia.
She puts her hands into like that meditative pose, and her thumbs just kind of twiddle a little bit as she goes, "People do stupid things in love."
Speaking from experience, perhaps?
So how's your new powers?
I'm not sure about them yet. He actually... Dang it, I just remembered he doesn't have a shirt, so he can't pull up the collar of his shirt. To be perfectly honest, I'm still nervous about them, and that's part of why I took the whole night watch. Focus on something else, you know?
Yes, no, excellent plan. Just alone by your thoughts with no one to bounce ideas off of, and your anxiety just, culminates. No, it's a great plan. I understand exactly why you did that.
Call it a hunch, but I get the feeling I would have had unusual dreams tonight.
Nah, I wouldn't think so. I think you're fine.
Maybe you're right. I'm sure it's, as you said, just my anxiety.
Probably. She just thinks, plus, there's plenty of people nearby, even if you get spooky dreams. Like, it's not like, it's entirely a problem.
Is that an offer I hear for if I get scared in the middle of the night?
She does that silly eye roll thing, trying not to make eye contact.
Right.
I wouldn't say that, but
it certainly sounded like you implied it.
She just kind of leans ahead into you and just on your shoulder kind of thing.
Right.
She's like, if you get tired, in case you get cold. I don't know, do you get cold? Actually, she gets very distracted all of a sudden. Do you get cold?
In genuine cold, yes. That I have bundled up during the winter.
I'm surprised. I've only ever seen you dress like, I don't know, like a like a sand elf or something.
Believe me, that's more a sign of how healthy you've kept me.
She just chuckles a little bit. Still, it's crowded at camp. I'm going to hang out here, okay?
Fair enough. And he actually is going to put an arm around her.
She'll snuggle. You guys sit in quiet contemplation, and after about 20 minutes or so, she is out.
Crud. Crud. I should have had him get a blanket from his backpack before she fell asleep.
She'll just snuggle with you. It's not that cold of a night. It's like summer.
Right.
Yeah. You rest easy. Well, you keep watch, but otherwise you get a full night's rest.
All right.
Hecht and actually pretty much everyone who's asleep would have this vision. As you guys are about to reach morning, you all suddenly are woken up as if a flash of golden light shot into your eyes, and everyone wakes up, and you are all instinctively pulled towards Thistletop.
Oh.
Damn, wait, what was that? Smokey! Did you feel that?
Smokey. How's Evan reacting to that?
Smokey did not feel it, in fact.
This instinctual pull, does it feel familiar to me?
Yes. Uxio and Bella, instinctively, you get the feeling that someone has just been made a paragon.
Wait, so even though I wasn't asleep, I had the same feeling as everyone else?
Yep.
Okay.
Ah, shit.
Specifically, those two understand that someone became a paragon. Ranrua, you have a feeling that Lamashtu told you. And meanwhile, the three people who had the communal dream, Desna told you. Or at least, like, a feeling. You know what I mean?
Right.
But what about Evan?
Evan? Oh, that doesn't know shit. Like,
He doesn't know.
he don't know anything.
If anything, while sleeping, Ranrua would have been coiled up, and Evan may or may not have attempted to use her as a pillow.
That'd be funny. You guys wake up and Evan is like in
Trapped within Ranrua's shell.
Wake up like episode 1 of Monster Musume.
Exactly.
Evan wakes up, his arm is like out, and it's like trying to claw his way out of Ranrua. You hear a muffled help.
I give him a hand.
That's perfect.
Wow.
Evan.
Did
Okay.
any of you feel that?
If you mean that golden light, yes.
Someone else has claimed mythic power.
Ah, shit.
I have a sneaking suspicion who it was.
Eulalia, maybe?
It's my best guess.
Heck nods her head. We must not waste any more time. We need to go in.
Right. We'll have to tread carefully, though, because I don't think they laid out a welcome mat for us.
Shaylee nods, and she's like, I'll take the Ranger Corps along with Smokey, and we'll make sure that no one gets off that bridge or crosses over. Sheriff Hemlock will man the catapult, and we'll lay siege, and you guys make your way across.
I'll do that.
Easy enough. Before crossing the bridge, I will put Mage Armor on. Because that lasts for hours per level.
Smart.
Bella's going to take a breath and slap her face a couple times and be like, alright, let's go. And she will put her halo on.
So you turn that on by slapping your face, and you turn it off by calming yourself down?
No, I'm waking myself up.
Alright, I suppose it makes more sense.
Clap on. Clap on. Clap on. Clap on.
No, stop that!
It's all okay.
Okay, so you can take one companion with you into Thistletop with you. You can either have Amiko, Evan, or Smokey.
Wait, we have to take Amiko or Evan?
That's what you
Only
just said now,
one
isn't it?
companion.
Yeah, you've got a big party.
I think plot-wise it makes the most sense for Amiko to join us.
I agree.
Yeah. It just makes sense.
All right.
Evan will help defend the catapult.
Oh, I figured he was going to help keep anything from crossing.
Or that, yeah.
Sussing it out, Shaylee will essentially start helping you guys strategize. She goes, right now we're going for precise strikes, so we want as small a team as possible. And she starts thinking, I think it would be best if Evan stayed with us to guard the bridge, and Amiko, I think... The two look at each other, and they do like this understanding nod, and Shaylee says, I think you should go in and try to find your brother. Amiko nods, and they give each other a big hug, and Amiko readies herself. Anyone want to do anything before you guys go?
Aside from preparing my potions, I do want to ask Amiko, like, so if we do find your brother in there, how do you want us to proceed? Because we could try to talk him down, but I have not too much info like you do as far as your brother's concerned as to how he would think.
She takes a deep breath and says, at this moment, Pseudo's an enemy, and you should treat him as such. But if we can, me asking you personally, try to take him in.
Well, that's why I got the sap here in the first place on this raid. But I don't know. I was thinking I'd try to really make him see as far as who he sided with and how whatever he thinks he's in is not the best place for him, because things could have been a lot worse. Ugh.
She goes, I know my brother better than anyone. He's a stubborn idiot, and he's gonna do what he's gonna do. He's gonna do what he's gonna do, and we gotta do what we need to do.
Okay.
All right. So, who's going to step on the bridge and possibly subject themselves to sniper shots first?
Meanwhile, in the background, me talking to Evan and Smokey.
I get.
What's up?
Well, it seems that it's time for the main party to engage. Evan, I'm sure that you'll do just fine protecting everyone from whoever attempts to cross this bridge. And Smokey, I'm sure that you'll provide the best support a bear could ever give to anyone. You're honestly a wonderful druid, and better than even some paladins that I've met in my life.
Brr.
What you talking about?
He puts a hand to his heart, like almost indignant. Bear, where? Like.
Sorry, human. Best human I've met as a druid in my life.
He wipes his brow. Evan takes his gladius, slaps it on his shield. We'll guard the bridge. You guys go ahead.
Don't die. Bella would be really upset. As I walk away.
Aw. All right. And Shaylee says, as far as sniper fire goes, I think they're going to be a little bit occupied with, and she takes her hands and does a little bit of a magic, and pew pew, like some flares, and right on cue, as a gigantic boulder flies into the side of Thistletop and crashes into it.